No.
Hi everybody, and big welcome to the deepest voice you can make of cEDH TV. Today, me, Pontus, and Rhetoric are joined by William. Once he stopped laughing.
Okay. Today we are playing Rograkh again. We're trying to redeem ourselves for the last time we played Rograkh and that other time we also played Rograkh, but with green. So we're still doing the same thing. I think I have 2 cards switched out. I have a Gitaxian Probe and a Peat Bog, the tap land that taps for 2 black. And that's the only difference that we're bringing today. Other than that, it's the same old rock.
Me, I'm doing Ishay Kediss. This was Zito's list from the top 8 Chaos Treasure series. And, I haven't played a real combat-focused commander deck in a little while, so I thought I'd give this one a try. It's to just basically Jeskai beat down sort of stuff.
I am back with the Rani. And if I keep up this voice, my throat is gonna die, so we're gonna go back to normal mons. But I really like this Grixis version. I think the gold mechanic is really fun. We're still playing a typical mid-range, kinda, necro build with her. Because I want to play a lot of really cool creatures like Professional Facebreaker and the Rani is pretty cool, Talion and the Rani is pretty cool, Grim Hireling and the Rani is pretty cool, Academy Manufacturer and the Rani is pretty cool. So it's a lot of fun, but we're still playing a Grixis Turbo. However, having the high CMC is tricky to do something like Adnos, so therefore we're going Necro instead. So, Necro, mid-range, Rani.
So today I'm bringing Tymna Dargo again. I'm done playing the bird. The bird has cursed mulligans apparently and doesn't like me. So I'm bringing my old baby. This is a way more lean version of the deck where we cut a lot of the fluff pieces for just being more lean. And yeah, we've seen this deck, kind of what it does. Layered combo, Turbonos, all the good stuff. Let's start out with the starting 7. This is one of those hands that's better than it should be, just on the backs of having Gamble in hand, because it's a turn 1 crypt, most likely, But we have no payoff, it's a turn 2 Tymna. We have a turn 3 Dargo into sacrifice, but no outs, so yeah, let's use mulligan. This hand is mega spicy. It's one of those hands that you almost want to keep, even though you very much shouldn't. First of all, it doesn't have a red mana for Dockside, which is very important. And also, it doesn't have a payoff. Dockside is kind of a payoff in that you can cast Tymna and Dargo. But keeping land, crypt, Dockside, that's a 3. And the land doesn't even cast Dockside, so I'd probably move lower for that. If the land was red and we had any sort of payoff, going turn 1 D-grid into turn 2 Dockside into payoff is actually really good going first here. But that's not what we got. It's almost what we got, but not really. So let's go to 6. This hand is a really strong turn 3. It's turn 1 land pass, turn 2 DT, turn 3 Dockside. But it's Dockside into Dargo, into Reanimate Dockside, into Alt of the Wretched, into Diabolic Intent. That's really good. It's kind of slow. Alt of the Wretched and Dockside are both creatures, so they're harder to interact with. So it's not the worst line ever. The Diabolic Intent will, of course, be interactable, and the Reanimates, but depending on Dockside count, you might not even need them. Well, Diabolic Intent will always be nice, of course, but you get the point. So we actually kind of could keep this going first. We have a Rograkh in the pod, so Rograkh will always be a real threat. We might just lose turn 1 or turn 2. So there is an argument to try to raise them instead. Usually with a fast pod, you want to mulligan for a turn 2 win or a turn 3 protected win. This is neither. This is a turn 3 kinda hard to interact with hand, which is fine-ish. And I could bank on Mons and Rhetoric keeping Rograkh down. So I think this hand could be fine enough, but I kind of want to mulligan. But I also really want to play with Alt of the Wretch, so I think that actually takes the cake. And playing with the guaranteed card I want to play with, because skill issue, I keep.
Take the first 7. Oops, that's not the first 7. Let's do the restart. First 7. Lots of awesome lands, or cards, I should say, but no lands, so we're going to pitch that one. Okay, I'm going to keep this second 7 because I can get Ishay out on turn 1. Now, Pontus is playing right before me. I'm already nervous because we know that this Dargo Tymna deck is super fast, but if he storms off and fails, and could get a lot of counters on Ishay, bring in Kediss on turn 2, and then smash in. But have Jeweled Lotus to play Ishay on turn 1, assuming there's no wheels or anything like that, could be amazing. And we've also got some backup interaction, but we have Intuition if we want to go find, the sort of package with Lion's Eye Diamond and things of the sort. So it's a really tempting hand to keep, and I'm going to go for it. Take it away, Will.
Okay, so we found our second 7. This hand is absolutely correct, I think. So we have currently 2 lands and a Mox Diamond and a Mana Crypt, a lot of mana acceleration. We only have 2 colored sources, so if we find the second mana source of any kind, we do Imsil for an Adnos, and then we have like double protected Adnos on turn 2, which is like super good. But if we don't, I guess we would have to put Wheel of Fortune or something on the top. We could do Ristic as well to keep like the interaction, and then we're pretty much set up to do anything that we want of the cards that we draw from the Ristic. But yeah, obvious keep. We're gonna do great things with this.
So I actually kind of like this hand. I mean, look at it. We have Gemstone Caverns in a pre-game effect, so we can Vamp Tutor the first thing we do before we get to our turn. However, looking at this hand, we don't really have a clear goal going forward, but we do have a lot of mana. We on turn 2, we're gonna have 2 lands, a Soldering. Like, I think we're able to actually cast... No, we're not able to cast the Daffy Voidwalker because this Talisman of Curiosity is incorrect. It's not tapping for black. But we're not far away from getting our commander into play, but we're also not far away from getting like a Necro. Now we'll need 1 more black, but the Vamp Tutor could find Necro here, or we could find Underworld Breach as well, because we already have Brain Freeze. Now we don't have Lion's Eye Diamond, but if the Brain Freeze just hits really big, then we could Vamp Tutor for Underworld Breach, cast Brain Freeze on ourselves, and then hopefully find Lion's Eye Diamond somewhere in that resolution. But there's another cool play we can do. We can put Daffy Voidwalker into play, and if someone is storming off a little bit too much, we can Brain Freeze them and make a really huge, like basically turn Daffy Voidwalker into a big tutor, kinda. Now, Vamp Tutor can literally become anything here. So I really like hands that contain a lot of early mana into a big payoff. And this tutor is going to find that big payoff. If it is Necro, if it's Underworld Breach, or whatever that I need. Might go and find Talion the Kindly Lord, depending on the feeling. So I'm gonna keep this hand, because it's a hand that will be able to burst out power early, but also develop into something else. I have a pre-game effect of a Gemstone Caverns. I'm going to exile, and suddenly I don't want to exile anything. I didn't think about that. What am I actually going to exile into this? We are exiling this Talisman of Curiosity to it. A little bit sad about that, but it's fine. It will work out. Take it away, Pontus.
Go to my turn. Spicy draw. Command Tower pass.
Draw a card for turn. Land for turn will be Polluted Delta. I'll immediately crack it and pay life. Finding Volcanic Islands, Jeweled Lotus. Crack Jeweled Lotus for 3 white, and we will cast Ishay. Very happy. I will pass turn with 6 cards in hand.
Okay, untap, draw. I'm going to play Rograkh. So the interesting dynamic on here is that Rhetoric cast is Ishay on turn 1. So we want to preserve our life total, because that Ishay is going to swing at us for sure. So we are balancing, trying to play around getting our artifacts wheel on Mon's turn. But at the same time, we want to preserve our life total a little bit. However, it's just going to be the difference of 2 life. We're going to feed the Ishay 2 more. However, if we feed it such that it gets to 7, I don't know if there's any like land right of flaming to Jeska in the 99 or something that can mess us up and we die to commander damage, but we are gonna take our bets and not play around that specific interaction and just gonna jam out. I'm gonna play City of Brass as my land for turn, tapping my City of Brass, losing 1 life, casting this Imperial Seal. I'm gonna lose 2 life. Yeah, I'm finding this card with the Imperial Seal, putting it on top. I'm gonna proceed by casting this Mana Crypt, triggering Ishay. I will continue by casting this Mox Diamond and discarding an Wooded Foothills. I'm going to pass my turn.
Draw a card for the turn. I'm gonna play this Morphic Pool. So William just used Imperial Seal. I'm sitting with a Brain Freeze in my hand that I can interact with, but I think that it kinda depends, like what he finds with that. It's usually Adnos. I don't think he's finding Underworld Breach with that thing. Daffy Voidwalker versus Underworld Breach is great. Daffy Voidwalker will probably not work out if it's an Adnos, because he will most likely just cast the Adnos, bounce or get rid of the Daffy, and then that's where we end up. I think a safe play here is to cast Soldering and pass turn with the Brain Freeze. I kind of want to develop the... On the other hand, wait a minute. There is an Ishay in play. So if he finds Adnos, he's going to get punched pretty hard with that birdie as well. So that will kind of help out. Daffy Voidwalker can interact a tiny bit, maybe. I also want to develop, like, I don't want to waste my Brain Freeze to just interrupt whatever top deck manipulation he has done. Might be greedy. I'm gonna go with Daffy Voidwalker, being greedy here. I'm gonna cast a Daffy Voidwalker, and then I pass the turn.
Go to my turn. Land for turn will be a Badlands. I'll tap 2 to cast a Demonic Tutor, finding this card. So Dockside might seem a bit sus here. There's 2 artifacts in play in total, and you'd be kind of correct. It's not the greatest, of course. I expect my opponents to play 1 or 2 more, especially William. I'm kind of scared of a wheel, but I don't think he will wheel into Dathi. Dathi is kind of annoying with the altar as well. But all in all, I actually drawing Twin Flame Technomancer is just very funny, because that's just a line. So if we can get up to 5 mana from the dockside, we can do a lot of stuff. Dathi is a bit annoying, but we pretty much have it if we get there. So I'm a gamble on dockside getting a bit more fed, and let's see if it pays out. We might just be in awkward spots, but that's life.
Second turn. Land for turn will be a Tundra. I will tap 2 and cast Kediss. Okay, Ishay is a 7/7. I will send it at William.
No blocks, take 7.
Kediss triggers, which also deals 7 damage to Pontus and Mons. Other than that, I have 6 cards in hand. I'll pass turn.
Okay, so many of you at home might wonder, why did I cast this Mana Crypt? And the reason for this is it's actually very simple. When you play enough Rograkh, you get to the point that, like, a double protected Anos on turn 2, it doesn't bring you enough joy. It doesn't, like, spark that the cEDH fighting spirit in you. So what you need to do is you need to cast a Mana Crypt and be on the verge of maybe taking 4 extra damage into your NOS. So you get that extra little bit of tingle when you're trying to resolve the NOS. So this is the reason why I cast the Mana Crypt. I have a Mana Crypt trigger. I'm gonna take damage if I roll odds. I rolled a 5, so that's gonna be odds. I take 3. And I am going to go to draw step. Draw this card. I'm gonna play the card I tutored for, which is an Arid Mesa. I'm gonna pay 1 life. Fetch. Finding a Badlands. Pay 1 life with the City of Traitors. Cast this ad nauseam.
I pass.
I'm Marty, dude. I pass.
Same. Pass.
So Adnos resolves. Start flipping cards. Peatbog. Praetor's Grasp. Paradise Mantle. Mental Misstep. Wheel of Fortune. Dark Ritual, Ragavan, Snap, Last Chance, Yogwill, City of Traitors, Mystic Remora, Mox Amber, Lotus Petal, Underworld Breach, Mana Confluence, Culling the Weak. I'm gonna stop my add-ons here, and I'm going to go into my main phase, playing this Lotus Petal, triggering Ishay. I will play this Mox Amber, play a Snap, targeting Dathi Voidwalker, putting Lotus Petal in the Dathi zone.
Sadly, I have to pass.
I think this is a critical point where we need to interact. So I'm going to pitch Intuition to play Force of Will, targeting Snap.
I'm going to respond to the Force of Will by casting this Deflecting SWAT, targeting Force of Will.
Yep, no response to that.
resolve this snap, targeting Dati Voivod. Untapping 2 lands. Proceed by casting this Dark Ritual. 3 mana in my pool. Continue my turn by using 1 of the black mana to cast this Culling of the Weak, Rograkh, into my graveyard. Add 4 mana to my mana pool, going up to 6 floating black mana. So my next card is going to be a Praetor's Grasp. I'm going to target Pontus with this Praetor's Grasp. So I'm going to grab a Lionside Diamond from Pontus. So cast this Underworld Breach, taking 1 damage from my City of Brass, going down to 2 floating black mana. I'm going to cast Pontus's Lionside Diamond. I will proceed by sacrificing said Lionside Diamond, adding 3 blue to my mana pool. So cast this Dark Ritual from my graveyard using 1 of the floating black mana. Dark Ritual resolves. I go to 4 floating black mana. I will repeat that one more time, exiling these 3 cards using 1 of my floating black mana, which will make me go up to 6. I will then proceed by exiling these 3 cards and cast a Praetor's Grasp, targeting Mons using 3 of my floating black mana. Mons, I will grab your Demonic Tutor, please.
It's yours.
Using 1 of my floating black mana and 1 of my floating blue mana, I'm going to cast Demonic Tutor. With the Mons' Demonic Tutor, I found Brain Freeze in my deck, and I'm going to proceed by spending 1 blue mana and 1 black mana, and I will cast this Brain Freeze targeting myself. So Brain Freeze moves me for 45 of these cards. So our first 45 cards worth of Brain Freeze didn't find us the LED, so we're gonna do it again. Exiling Volcanic Island, Born upon a Wind, and Grim. Recasting Brain Freeze using our floating blue and floating black. Putting these cards into my graveyard. So with my library milled, I'm going to find at last this Lionside Diamond. I will sacrifice it for blue, and then I will play my Thassa's Oracle, and with the ETB, I'm going to win the game. GG's, I am awesome.
So this was fast, but then again, cEDH is fast, and here you go. Typical Rogsai, doing what Rogsai is supposed to do. Find Adnos, cost Adnos, and win. 1, 2, 3 steps victory. Simple and clean. Not much to it. No, there's a lot to it. I actually think I misplayed, which I kind of said to you guys already. The better play would have been to cast Brain Freeze, targeting William to put the Adnos into the graveyard. Or, well, I didn't know what it was. There was this fear that maybe it's a breach, but the higher likelihood is that it's an Adnos. And like I said, Daffy Voidwalker doesn't interact with that greatly, but I was greedy. I didn't want to use the Brain Freeze, but I should have had.
Yeah, I mean, on the Adnos subject, I did have Force Will in my hand at that time, and I really was tempted to do that, but I don't know. I just feel like with the Bird Wizard that I had, I was like, if he's going to go all the way down into the tank and then just fail, that was probably a gamble, I admit. So probably is the best play just to counter it, but I don't know. I was like, maybe I can kill 2 people because he's going to storm off, and if I could hold it until the right time, after you had drawn those cards, I was like, maybe I have a chance, but then he's probably got counter magic in his hand, so I'm gonna need some backup if that's the case. You know, it didn't happen, so I will know in the future to probably just go ahead and counter that Adnos whenever possible.
Yeah,
I don't think it would have mattered, but yeah, I agree that you should have had. Sorry, Pontus, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, like, having that Doth in play when the Adnos is on stack makes it like even more feel bad, because if you counter the Adnos, there's just another Adnos coming next turn.
Yeah. Now,
but like in this case,
sorry for interrupting you, Pontus, but thank you for making me sound like a good player and putting Doth into play. Genius.
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
No, but I do think there's a fair argument for playing Dottie over just Brain Freezing, because there's a decent chance that like Bird person would like to keep his stuff going and interact with the Adnos.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. If the Adnos would have been, if you would have been stopped, I would have been in a very happy position with an Adnos on my turn. Sorry, I want to hear what Pontus was about to say. I interrupted him.
No, I was just going to call your deck bad, because in that position, who do you rather have an Adnos?
Yeah.
Rani, that doesn't run Adnos themselves to begin with, or a Rogsai that's literally tuned to just shit mana. I think I would prefer to give it to Rani.
Yeah, I don't know how much my Adnos would have... Okay, that didn't... I'm just flipping a few cards right now, and I've already lost from 5 cards 10 life. There's a chance I literally just cast Adnos and die from it, or just draw like 3 cards and be done with it, or don't cast it at all and just sit with it Daffy up untapped for a while. So I agree with Pontus, you have a point.
But it's also worth mentioning that like the most common outlet for Breach in Grixis is Breach.
Yeah.
Did I say Breach? The most common Adnos outlet is Breach, not Breach outlet is Breach.
Literally just what we saw in this video. But something I think that... I don't think that Andafi Voidwalker is going to be enough to stop that, because just like what happened in this game, he bounced the Daffy.
Yeah, with all this discussion done, he also had like Pact's Deflecting Spot in hand, so it wasn't like this discussion even matters, because he just happened to have the nuts.
Yeah.
But that's just how it is sometimes.
Even though cEDH is quite fast and have a very low amount of turns in it, usually it can still be very complex and have a lot of details in them. So I hope you learned something and found it entertaining and insightful in some form of way, even though we only got to turn 2. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you in the next one.